In this section, I will demonstrate to you the configurations related to the fiscal year variant, posting period variant, and open or close period for material master records. Before I do that, here is the business scenario. The company wants to configure its fiscal year variant from January to December for both UK and US companies. The company wants for special periods for posting as a part of year-ending closing. The business users want the current period should be open only for the transactional postings, while the last period should be closed. The SAP S/4HANA sourcing and procurement users want to know how they can open or close periods for material master records. I will demonstrate this business scenario by configuring SAP system. But let me tell you one more point here, that the configurations of fiscal year periods and open or close transactional periods are the job of SAP S/4HANA Finance Consultant. But because we need this configuration in place in order to work in SAP S/4HANA Sourcing and Procurement, so I will configure this at my end. And while you will be practicing on SAP system, so you have to do that. But in the real life business environment, this will be done by the finance consultant or finance business users or super users. And then you just have to work on open or close periods for material master records. Variant principle. Before I go into the SAP and create fiscal year, let me define you variant principle. What is variant principle? Variant principle is three-step method used in SAP to assign particular properties to one or more objects. So the first step is define the variant. The second is determine values for the variant. And the third step is to assign the variant to the objects. For an example, in our case, the fiscal year variant. So how many types of variants exist in SAP? Fiscal year variant, posting period variant, chart of accounts, field status variant, screen variant. All of them are created by following three-step method of variant principle. What are the advantages of using variants? It is the easier to maintain the properties which are common among several business objects. Fiscal year variant. So as I mentioned that it is created on the basis of variant principle and it is identified by two-digit alphanumeric key. Its transaction code is OB29 and here its menu path. So go to the transaction code OB29 or you can follow the menu path. To go into the menu, but I will use the transaction code for the implementation guide screen, that is SPRO. So go to the reference IMG, go under the Node Financial Accounting Global Settings, and then go to Ledger, and you will have an option Fiscal Year and Posting Periods. Expand this node and execute the Maintain Fiscal Year variant. Execute this, and you will be landed on this screen. SAP has already provided the standard templates for fiscal year variant. So the fiscal year variant contains the definition of posting periods and you can see the number of posting periods. And it is also contains the definition of special periods. So a maximum of 12 posting periods and for special periods make up for fiscal year. What is special periods? Special periods are used for posting for year-ending closing. A special posting is a posting period which is used to divide the last regular posting period for closing operations. So last year closing period is period 12 when you must close a period. For an example, if a fiscal year is from January to December, so in December you have to execute the closing operations. So in every company, the business users always to do the closing operations and then start the next fiscal year. Also, they transfer the profit and loss balances to the next fiscal year. So they are the other closing operations which I will demonstrate in this training, and you will see that can be the closing operations. So at the moment, the special periods are used for postings for year-ending closing, and special posting periods are open in the last closing period, that is period 12. Next is fiscal year variant. Fiscal year can be identified as independent and year specific. What is year independent? Number and start and dates for the periods are the same for every year. Year independent can be defined as a calendar year. SAP has already provided a template for a calendar year that is K0, K1, K2, K3, K4, and also a non-calendar year. Non-calendar year use +1, -1 indicators to represent the period of year. As our business scenario is that the company wants to configure its physical year periods from January to December for both UK and US company codes. So I will follow the calendar year. As I mentioned that SAP also already provided these standard templates that is K0, K1, K2, K3, K4. So these are the standard templates. And if you want to find out that how the configurations can be done for calendar year, so you can see these standard templates. For example, K4, that is the example of calendar year. So yeah, you just have to take this calendar year checkbox and then define the number of posting periods that is 12 and number of special periods that is 4. So in order to create a calendar year, I can either use the copy option or create it as a new entry. So let's create it as a new entry. So click New Entries button, and here you have to choose the 2-digit alphanumeric key for your fiscal year variant. SAP recommends that for any custom object, you should either choose the alphabet Y or Z. So in order to follow the SAP recommendation, I will create my fiscal year variant starts with Z. And as our company name is USA Tools Manufacturing, so I will put S and then I will give the description calendar year. And you can also put your company name in front if you want to, so that you can identify it. Check this box and enter the number of posting period 12 and the number of special period that is 4. Click Save and you will have this dialog box open for customizing request. So create a new request and you can enter the fiscal year variant and click Save. Continue. And that is how you can create your calendar year fiscal year variant. Now the next step is to assign the company code to the fiscal year variant. Go back and then go back. Now we are here to assign the company code to the fiscal year created. Go to the option Assign Company Code to the Fiscal Year Variant, execute it, and you will be landed on the screen. Go to the position and type your company code SUK1, so that you will notice that for SUK1, K4 as a fiscal year variant is already assigned. K4 is the standard fiscal year variant which SAP has provided as a template, and it is copied from the company code GB01, which we have copied to create our company code SUK1. So simply, you must replace this fiscal year variant with a variant which you have created. So I will use ZS as our fiscal year variant with UK company code and the US company code here. I would like to mention one more point, that all the company codes use the same fiscal year variant in the live business environment. If a fiscal variant is different, then it means that the company also belongs to a separate business line operations and it is not integrated with other companies or the part of other companies. So In order to have an integrated controlling module and asset accounting module in SAP S/4HANA system, organizations needs to have the same fiscal year variance across all the company codes. You can save your assignment now. You can create a new request and that is assigned company codes to fiscal year variant SUK1. Save and then click enter. And that's how you can assign the company codes to a fiscal year variant. So we have done the following business scenario by creating the fiscal year variant, that is calendar year, and then we also assign 4 special periods to that. Now the next business scenario is that the business users want the current period should be open only for the transactional postings, while the last period should be closed. So this business scenario can be achieved by creating a posting period variant in the recipe system that I will demonstrate you next. We can do it by creating the posting period variant. It is denoted by a 4-digit alphanumeric key and its table is 10T0100O, which can be viewed through the transaction code SE16M. Its transaction codes are: to define the variant, the transaction code is OBBO. To define open and closing period variant, the transaction code is OB52. And then you have to assign the company code, or if you have several company codes, to the posting period variant to the transaction code OBBP. And here it's menu path, which I will follow into the SAP system. Go to the transaction code SPRO, SAP reference IMG, go to financial accounting node, and then go to financial accounting global settings, and then ledgers and fiscal year posting periods. Go to the posting periods node. As I mentioned you earlier that the posting period variant is a kind of variant which follow 3 steps method. So it's defined a variant and then assign variant and then define the properties to the variant. So first define variants for the open posting periods. Execute this node and you will be landed on this screen. The first variant, it has been provided by the SAP as a standard template, but you will create your own posting period variant by clicking on this button New Entries. Let's say our company is Tools ABC. I will put the name as ZSBC. As I mentioned you earlier, the SAP recommends to start or to create any element by alphabet Y or Z as it upgrades your system, or if you transport your customization from one client to another, you can easily identify the custom objects starting with Y or Z alphabets. So I will start with Z S B 1 and this will be posting period variant. Posting period variant SUK1. I will enter the UK company code and then save. And you will have the customizing request pop up. Click new entries and then type posting period variant SUK1 and click continue. And the data was saved. Now that is how you can define the variant for open posting periods. Go back. Now you must assign this variant to your company code. Execute this. Go to the position and your company code is SUK1. Click on continue and here you are. You will notice that already a variant 0001 has been assigned to your company code. If you remember, we copied GB01, which is standard template of a company code. So from there, the variant posting period, variant 001 has been copied and then assigned to your company code. We will replace it with our posting period variant, that is ZSB1. Hit enter. As I mentioned to you that one posting period can be assigned to several company code. So if you want to assign it to the US company, you can do that. Save it and click create a new request and that is assign posting period variant to company codes. Save it and then enter. That's how you can assign the company codes to your posting period. Go back and now you have to define the open and close posting periods. Execute this and here you have to enter your posting period variant which you have already defined in the last steps. So that is ZSB1. Enter. Now you will be landed on this screen and here you have two options to define open and close posting periods. Either you can click on new entries or you have copy of function. But at the moment you can see that the screen is blank and you don't have any option to select anything to copy and create open and close posting periods. So that what we will do, we will go back and then come out of the screen and then execute again. This time I will choose the option maintain all. And in maintain all, you can notice that you have got some examples for open and closed posting periods and how they are defined in SAP system. So 0001 is the standard template provided by the SAP for open and closed posting period. Instead of creating new entries, but this time I will copy and then modify these settings according to our company's requirement. Select these lines which says variant 0001. Click copy as. Now you have to replace the variant with your posting period variant, that is ZSB1, and the second line as well, ZSB1. So you can select copy and you can quickly paste it. Do not press enter button here. So once you are finished, press enter. Now you will have the message number of entries copied 6, and then you can hit save button. Now if you want to create a new customizing request, you can do that. The open and closing posting period SUK1, save it and press enter. So as I defined earlier that in order to prevent the posting period into a wrong period, we can close all the posting periods except the current one. So during month end closing, you can close the current period and open the next one. During year ending closing, you can open the special periods and make sure that the two period intervals must be open at the same time. So our fiscal year is 2024, so I will change it as well. So the purpose of doing that to close the period is to stop the business users not to create any transactional postings into the previous period and the future period by mistake. If they create a transaction in a previous period or in the next period, then they can make a request to the finance person and he can open the period for them. But this is the screen where you can open the period for the business users as well as to lock the periods. Now, just for your information, you can see the period 3 on your screen. If you're wondering what is period 2 and period 3, so period 3 specifies that the open and closed posting periods for posting from controlling to financial accounting module. So period 3 is related to the controlling module posting to financial accounting. So we don't need to do anything here. Just leave it blank. Finally, there is a column for account types. Posting periods can be handled differently for different account types. As you can see on my screen, account A plus must be open for all the postings that are supposed to be open for all other account types. D represents customers, A represents assets, S represents GL accounts, and M represents materials. V represents contact accounts, and K represents vendor. So if you will lock the period for one of them, for example, for customers, so you will not be able to make any posting for customers. And if you want to close period for materials, then you will not be able to make any transaction for materials. It's a normal business scenario in any organization that they do not want to close periods for any particular account type. For example, they want to open it for GL accounts, but they want to close it for asset customers or vendors in the year and ended closing. So you can control the setting through this posting period screen option. So according to the business scenario, that the current period should be open only for the transactional postings, while the last period should be closed. So we have done it exactly. Once you are done, you can hit save and the data was saved. Now the next business scenario is that the SAP S/4HANA sourcing and procurement users wants to know how they can open or close periods for material master records. So that is what I will demonstrate to you next. Now, as this activity belongs to SAP S/4HANA sourcing and procurement module, so you will be the one who is working in this activity. You must open or close period for material master records. So which transactions are important to do that? First, in order to set the current period for them, we normally use the transaction code OMSY, and here its menu path for display IMG screen. Then the next is to open the previous period in MM, and we use the transaction code MMRV, and we allow posting to previous period. And we can use the following menu that belongs to SAP Easy Access screen, which means that the business user can also use this transaction code to open the previous period in MM. And then if we want to close period for material master record, so you can use the transaction code MMPV. And here its menu path that belongs to our SAP Easy Access screen. Now I will demonstrate you all these transactions codes in SAP screen. So in order to set the current period for MM, we use the menu path to display IMG screen to go to the transaction code SPRO SAP reference IMG and then go to the logistics general node, then go to the material master, basic settings, and then execute maintain company codes for material management. Execute it and then go to the position and look at your company, that is SUK1. So at the moment you see that the year and the period is current period is blank. So our year is 2024 and our period is 06. Press enter and then you can see that automatically the previous year 2024 while the previous period or the month is 5, that is automatically picked up by the system. There are also the other columns which you can look. For example, last month, previous year, which is 12. If you want to allow posting into the previous period, then you can mark this checkbox. And if you want to disallow back posting generally, then you can mark this checkbox. So the next company code we have is the US company code, that is SUS1. So I will make the same settings for the company code, that is 2024 and the period is 06. Press enter and we can set the current period for the material master. Once you finish, then hit save and then create a new customizing request, that is maintain company codes for material management. Hit save, press enter to continue and the data was saved.